What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to educate some of my black folks who don't understand that the situation that they are in America, as far as jobs and immigration, and the reason why you're supposed to be mad at immigrants is because they're supposed to be taking your jobs. Like, that's the thing that's always been used by politicians to make the regular folk afraid of them other folk. But in reality, listen, in the real world, what's happening is Western governments, white Western governments, because they have a white population problem in their colonies, they need other people to come in and work in the institutions they created to keep the countries running. You understand? It doesn't matter what you build. If you don't have people to run the machine don't run, right? So the power that be have no choice but to get the other, right? But they have to make you believe that they don't want it. So the political theater is, oh, we got to do something about immigration. Oh, we got to do something about immigration. But the actual policies is, hey, we need to do something about our aging population, about our declining population, and we need more people in the country to work. We need more people in the country to have babies so that they can pay taxes to the government, so the government can function. If you don't have babies, if you don't have people growing up and getting into the system, they're not paying taxes, so the federal government's not getting paid, state governments are not getting paid, politicians are not getting paid, nothing can run. All right, so that's that. We see a lot of people think that it's just America, right? Like, it's just a problem that we have here. And so it's causing a lot of people to have a lot of conversations about illegal immigration and things like that and all that stuff. But the issue is capitalism itself is parasitic and it's on a timer. All right, so all these black conservatives who are married to capitalism is a monster that eats on itself. All right, and it can't last the test of time. And I'm going to give you a good example, because people always like to use China as something to, not only do they use Chinese citizens as the good citizen to go against African Americans, but they also use China as a whole, this is Europeans, to try to say, look at what China can do. Look what China has done in 30 years. They've pulled all these people out of poverty. But what you don't know is, because that's political theater, they force people out of poverty with a one-party system. They have a dictatorship, but they have a capitalistic system. So their capitalistic system is more capitalistic than our system. It's just that their government runs the capitalistic system. And in America, our corporations run the capitalistic system. All right, so in America, a billionaire can get away with anything. There's a double standard. Billionaires are above the law in America, for the most part, unless they do something like pedophilic and get caught. All right, if they do something pedophilic and don't get caught by the public, then they get away with it. But once they get caught all the way, then it's a problem, right? Or if they do something to each other, right? If they do something to the peasants, to the regular folk, it's all administrative. If they do something to each other, it's criminal, all right? Trust me, all right? You could pay attention to politics now, you'll see it, right? In China, if you're a billionaire, you ain't shit, all right? You think you shit, but as soon as you pop off with the mouth and say something against the government, you're done, all right? That's just how that is. They'll take all your money and you'll go disappearing, all right? Ask the latest crop of Chinese billionaires. And that's why Chinese billionaires and millionaires are flocking to the West. So all these successful Chinese people are just people who were successful in their country and they're fleeing their own authoritarian capitalistic countries to come to the West, where it's better being a billionaire than it is being a billionaire in Asia, because you can still be oppressed. All right, so when you measure up billionaires who made their money in those countries and billionaires, and they flock because they're leaving like refugees, all right, to America, right, buying up real estate, because that's the only way they can transfer their money to the West, because they can't do it via bank transfer. Because they do that, China's gonna be like, oh, you trying to take our money away from us? Guess what? We freezing your account. We gonna flag your passport. You ain't going nowhere. As a matter of fact, we're gonna disappear you to one of our undisclosed locations, because that's how they roll. All right. So you can't compare the average African American to any Chinese billionaire, millionaire fleeing their country with billions and billions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, and because they have the money when they get to the West to set up business and industry. You can't compare that. You can't compare it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how Chinese people are living in China. All right, I'm talking about our equivalent. Let me show you what they're going through, because when you see what they're going through, you would notice that is very similar to what we're going through. As a matter of fact, it's 10 times worse than what we are going through in our system that we already complain about. And they're complaining about it over there. So it doesn't matter where you are when it comes to losing your job, because AI and them robots are the new illegal immigrants that you will be complaining about in the future, because they're going to take all your jobs, because they will work much less than that Mexican. They will work for much less than that African. They will work for much less than that Caribbean. You ain't got to pay them overtime. You ain't got to give them health care. They don't stop working. You ain't got to say, it ain't labor law. We can only work for 8 hours, gotta give you a break. You don't need none of that. Robots can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they will never complain. They won't fight the boss. They won't cuss you out. They won't make YouTube, TikTok videos complaining about the workplace environments. They won't do none of that shit, all right? So the robots are coming. You see it happening. If you was in IT, guess what? You did all that. Remember a couple years ago, everybody's going to IT? Guess what? You're no longer relevant. They don't need you. Ha! Everybody be looking for a new job. Everybody looking for the same jobs. You got to compete to work at McDonald's, right? Guess what? They don't need you there either. They don't need you nowhere. Blue collar jobs, white collar jobs, all of them. You're not necessary, all right? Corporations are in the business of making money, not making employees happy. If they can do everything without employees, they would do it, all right? So you're not important when it comes to the bottom line. Right, so without further ado, I'm just gonna peep y'all into the game, because a lot of y'all people, y'all think that China's sweet. They're over there doing it, and everybody's enjoying this great system, and we're gonna use that to say, how come Africa's not doing? Yo, compared to there's places in Africa, man. Listen, dog, the quality of life in Africa is all much better than a lot of places around the world, despite the propaganda that you hear. The quality of life. Listen to me. Quality of life, not that hustle mentality in the West that they got all thinking that we got to hustle 24 hours, right? That's just a scheme. None of that. I'm talking about being able to relax and enjoy your life. You may not have a lot of money, but overall, the quality of life is better. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and put this clip up here. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn some, teach some. I'm out.
Not working just makes me poor. Working makes me both tired and poor. If I don't work, I only have financial problems. If I work, not only do I have financial problems, but I also have mental issues. Every day, I have to reply to multiple work chat groups. Got it. Okay, sure. Beggars also say please help, but when beggars go out to beg, they still have to check the weather and the time. I go to work early in the morning and come back late at night, rain or shine, and in the end, I earn less than a beggar. I think about quitting 800 times a day, but I still manage to get perfect attendance every month.
This is a popular joke on Chinese social media, and while it's humorous, it reveals the bitter reality behind many workers' laughter. People say that we are in an era where capitalism is faltering and all industries are struggling. In every trade, there are obstacles to overcome. The most unfortunate are the current college students. Before graduation, the future is uncertain and everyone has potential. After graduation, the reality sets in and everyone is just another worker. You work tirelessly, but poverty always outpaces you. Those without jobs want to work, and those with jobs want to die. In companies, one person does the work of 3, and if you don't put in extra effort, you'll end up farming. In the past couple of years, the word people hear most frequently is poor. Regardless of what they used to do, whether they were workers or bosses, engaged in physical businesses or e-commerce, almost everyone in China, except for public servants, has entered an era of widespread poverty. People used to say, "You're poor because you don't work hard." Factory line and public security workers are earning 2,000 or 3,000 yuan a month, making less than even a beggar. Without desires, they don't want to buy houses or cars, don't get married or have children. Without ambition, they don't want to start a business or become wealthy investors. As long as they don't starve, they're content. They lack drive, so they deserve to be poor. However, the current trend on Chinese social media is, the harder you work, the worse off you are. Without working hard, you can still at least eat and not become a negative millionaire. But those who try hard to change their fate end up losing everything and becoming heavily indebted.
The harder you work, the more debt you accumulate. The more you persist, the poorer you become. The bigger you play, the more debt you have. These past few years have truly not been suitable for starting a business. There are fewer and fewer people on the streets. Nowadays, if something can be bought online, it's almost impossible to make a living selling it offline. Store owners just watch each other, either getting crushed by competition or dragged down by the market. Even wholesalers and brand manufacturers have turned to live streaming sales, leaving only the restaurant industry appearing somewhat prosperous. Barbershops still have occasional queues, and hospitals are as crowded as ever. It's not fair to blame young people for not getting married, not having children, not spending, or not consuming. In the current environment, no matter how smart or hardworking you are, it's tough to make money renting a place for business. If you push a bit harder, take out loans to expand, you'll just end up worse off. Sometimes it's really better to just lie flat. Lying flat has become the most sensible thing to do in recent years.
Entering 2024,